your dreams.
The new Katya breaks the game, and my dick. Welcome back to another Snowbreak Containment Zone video, and today I'm just going to be talking about the new 5-star Katya that just recently released. Katya is a new 5-star Frost DPS. Yes, another DPS character. Her playstyle is very Unga Bunga-ish. You basically spam her turrets, shoot, ult every now and then, and boom, the enemy is fucking dead. Her standard skill, Shimmering Trail, will basically have a dash, and she'll leave behind a crystal vein at the end. And if there are any enemies near the crystal, they'll basically take frost damage, up to 5 targets, and then the crystal vein will disappear. And if she uses her standard skill again, it'll trigger the glider effect. This will create an additional crystal vein without consuming her charges. And this crystal vein will not deal damage to the target. You can have up to 12 crystal veins at a time on the field. When these crystal veins are on the field, Katya will get this thing called an Aurora Veil. And whenever she's on the field, every second, she'll basically gain 10 Aurora charge. Katya will also gain 4 Aurora charges when she shoots at an enemy. Once Katya reaches to 100 Aurora charges, 6 crystal veins on the field will disappear, and each of those 6 will be converted into 6 powerful frost damage shots. These crystal veins that she summons is not considered auxiliary unit, so she's not going to get any auxiliary unit damage bonus from these crystal veins. When it comes to her neuronics, since she is a DPS character, I do recommend that you get all of her neuronics unlocked, since she does gain an additional alignment index whenever you do the neuronic link things. With one of her neuronic skills on the standard skill, when equipped with a frost weapon, decreases the number of crystal veins that disappear after triggering the Aurora Ray by half. So this means that instead of 6 crystal veins disappearing, it'll be 3 of them instead. After a crystal vein defeats a target and disappears, Katya creates another crystal vein and gains 40 Aurora charge. So this will basically help her get even more Aurora charges if her crystal veins happens to defeat an enemy. That will make her pretty good against, normal mob enemies, since they're pretty easy to defeat. While her first standard skill, neural skill, will basically help Katya have as many crystal veins on the field as possible. As with her support skill, nothing really too crazy going on. Katya will basically leap backwards and fire 2 waves of hail barrage, dealing ice frost damage. The neuronic skills unlocked, she'll be able to freeze the enemy for 4 seconds, and it will also increase the number of ice arrows by the hail barrages by 2. Katya's ultimate skill does get interesting when you use her, or when you unlock her neuronics. When Katya uses her ultimate, when there are 6 crystal veins on the field, 6 of them will disappear, and Katya will fire 1 Aurora Ray at the enemy. And if Katya is equipped with a frost weapon, she'll basically replenish a charge on her standard skill. So you're going to want to use Katya's ultimate when you at least have 6 or more crystal veins on the field. Now, as for Duelos, alignment when equipped with a frost weapon increases Katya's attack by 6%. For each crystal vein on the field, up to 6 stacks. For each 100 alignment index, ratio increases by an extra 1%. So when Katya has at least 6 crystal veins on the field, her attack will be increased. Now, as for Katya's weapons, her weapon on the banner is also pretty fucking good, since it is her weapon. The weapon in question is called the Sea of Shards. It'll basically increase Katya's frost damage by 18%. Katya uses her standard skill and the standard skill again after the 2 seconds that she uses the first standard skill. She'll basically get this thing called the Starfall, which will increase the standard skill damage by 24% for 8 seconds. So more standard skill damage is very good for Katya, if it wasn't obvious enough, since a lot of her damage is going to be coming from either from her standard skill or even like her ballistic damage. But this will basically increase the crystal vein damage that she will do whenever she summons the crystal vein. While Katya is on her Starfall mode, whenever she shoots at an enemy, they'll basically get a stack called the Floating Light, and each stack of Floating Light will basically increase their damage taken from Katya's crystal veins. So Katya's 5-star weapon basically increases the damage of her standard skill significantly. But since this is Snowbreak Containment Zone we're talking about, each 5-star character does get a dedicated 4-star weapon that you can get for free in the shop. This weapon in question is called Tornado. I like how the 4-star weapon's description is not as big as like a 5-star weapon. But anyway, when an equipping operative uses their standard skill, using their standard skill again within 2 seconds will grant Swirling Wind for 8 seconds. While Swirling Wind is active, each shot gives equipping operative 1 stack of Water Vortex. When Water Vortex reaches 10 stacks, increases standard skill damage by 48%. Water Vortex is removed once Swirling Wind ends. So her 4-star weapon also increases the damage of her standard skill. Now as for teams for Katya, you might run 1 healer slot. Whether it's Yao, Qingxing, or Echel, and the other slot can be a supportive 5-star character. Whether it's a Katya, maybe Tess. I think Enya will be pretty good with her as well, since Enya can boost standard skill damage. Maxar, if you don't have any 5-star support characters, you can just run any random 4-star character and equip them with Maxar's logistics, which is called the Armana logistics. When a character uses their support skill, it'll basically increase your team's ballistic damage. My strongest team with Katya is a Katya, although my Katya is M5. You could probably run Katya with Vidya, since Vidya's support skill does increase your party's attack. When it comes to Katya's manifestations, they do go pretty hard. I think the best stopping point is M2 for people that are on somewhat of a budget. At M1, when Katya is equipped with a frost weapon, the crystal vein will basically ignore 25% of the target's defense. And at M2, when she has a frost weapon equipped, the Aurora Ray will also fire an additional Aurora Ray, so you're basically getting even more Aurora Rays. Now, if we compare new Katya to other 5-star DPS characters, I do think the new Katya is pretty fucking strong. I do think she's much more stronger than her original version. She will also be more useful than Cherno in certain situations. They are adding bosses that have a lot of chaos resistance, so if Cherno's your only main DPS, I would definitely suggest you pull for Katya. I do think Katya is probably one of the most Unga Boonga DPSs. You basically spam her standard skill, shoot, maybe ult once in a while once you have enough crystal veins on the field. At least with Cherno, you are going to have to choose carefully when you're going to detonate her Enigma balls, because she does get in a vulnerable state when you detonate them. And with infinite sight life, you may have to time your dodges depending on what type of enemy you're facing. But Katya kind of just feels a little Unga Boonga-ish. I do think her playstyle is pretty fun though. But anyways, if you have at least 2 DPS characters built, I don't think you really need to pull for Katya. But if you are a new player that just started like today or yesterday, I would definitely suggest you pull for the new Katya. Anyways, that's gonna be the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think about Katya. I think I might M2 Katya or maybe even M5 Katya. I don't know yet, but she is one of my favorite characters, so I'm glad she's getting another form. I will see you guys later.
Bye now. Come again soon.